Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for joining again for another PWA Studio Community Sync. So today we have a couple of demos from the internal team. We have Mudit, Shika, and the team from CedCommerce here with us as special guests. They're going to go through a demo of their Cenia theme that they've created, which is going to be really exciting. And then we'll talk a little bit about some upcoming work and upcoming kind of changes, I guess, or efforts that we have around, community. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll kind of wrap and then get into the rest of our Fridays or the weekend, right? Let's start off. We have Stephen with us who's going to talk through a change or an issue that we discovered with Lighthouse. So Stephen, take it away.
Sure. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So, as Andrew said, all right, let's do this. I am showing this issue that was raised a while back with Lighthouse. Recently, it's become clear to me how important Lighthouse scores are. And one thing that was called out in this ticket was that the best practices score on the Lighthouse report was lower than what we want, 100. And the reason for that was because of these console logs that were occurring. And they were a little bit difficult to track down. I wasn't able to reproduce them regularly on my own, but I finally was able to track down and get them to happen consistently, which led me to the real answer, which is that it's not PWA Studio's fault. So I guess this is sort of a PSA for everybody. If you're using Lighthouse and you notice that you're seeing messages like this in your Lighthouse scores, don't worry. We have an issue out there with Workbox team and Google is aware of it. They're the guys that own the Workbox. So there are ways forward around this, but for the time being, the best practice score will just stay a little bit lower until we kind of figure out what we want to do with it. And so I'll just show you how that manifests. So here I've got a local instance running, and there's a few things to get this to occur. You have to develop. You either use Yarn Stage or you can develop using the Watcher. And if you develop with the Watcher, you'll have to set this flag in your environment to true. And then you can rerun your Watcher and pull up your front end. When you get to the front end, you'll want to clear the storage, and what that will do is it will delete the service worker that may have been registered before from a previous page load, and then you'll refresh your page. And one thing I did, by the way, is I'm working off of a branch that has Workbox version 5, which is the latest that they've put out. Workbox version 4 is the version that PWA Studio currently has out there. So if you're developing against PWA Studio, you won't see these logs. Workbox v4 didn't have great logging. So I'm on a PR branch I'm on a branch where I've installed v5 just so I can show what's going on. So yeah, cleared the storage, refreshed the page. You can see there's no errors happening right now. And then I'm going to close the console. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to reopen it. And we're going to see 2 errors get thrown. And this is really interesting, right? Because they weren't there before, and all we did was close and reopen the console. It was really difficult to get to this point where I found that that's what it took, was clearing the cache, refreshing the page, closing the console, and reopening the console. But it turns out that what happens when you open the console for the first time after refresh, Google or Chrome makes this request inside the service worker with a cache mode of only if cached and a mode of no cores, which means that it'll throw. So you'll see these errors. And this is only going to happen for a user if they ever open their console. So they're not going to see this on their when they're browsing, and you're not going to see this in your production site unless you open the console after you've cleared your cache. So it's very specific in steps to reproduce this. And I'll show you the workaround that I've come up with. So inside the service worker route registration file, we define a route for all HTML files, which is really just all of our routes. They just serve a single index file. And inside this code, and this is Workbox code now, they've defined a strategy for us so that we don't have to hand roll our own. And that strategy tries to make a request here and this is the code that's getting run when we reopen the console. So if we add this conditional inside their code, and then I let it rerun. Let's see if it's done rebuilding. All right, cleared the site data. I'll do the same thing. I cleared, refreshed, no errors. Now I'm going to close and reopen the console. And now you'll see that log that I put in, this where the error would have been thrown, but now instead we're just returning out of the network request, so it doesn't error out. So again, this is like deep inside dependency code of Workbox. The only way around this would be to, instead of using a Workbox strategy here, we would have to hand roll our own, which we totally could do. But at this point, it's sort of a time and effort. We have to weigh our time and effort against this bug that only occurs when you close and reopen the console. And again, this all comes back to the fact that Lighthouse does that, right? When you run the Lighthouse report, it does a bunch of stuff. It closes, reopens, it clears your cache, it turns on offline mode and stuff. So that's why the logs are showing up here. So yeah, so don't be afraid. Google knows about it. We know about it. Yeah. I had one more thing I wanted to demo. I know I only was signed up for one, but I just kind of wanted to talk quickly about this issue that we found recently. Before I get into that, did anyone have questions about the Lighthouse issue or the Workbox issue? Can't see chat, so Andrew, let me know.
Nothing in chat.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll be available in the community Slack if anyone has questions about that one. So the next issue that I worked on was a race condition that was happening with the place order function. So when you're on the checkout page and you place the order, and you place an order, let me see if I can just open it up. Here inside the callback for handle place order, this is what's invoked whenever you click that checkout button on the new cart page. We had two functions here. We had a get order details and a place order. And we had to do this because once you've placed the order, your order details are no longer available. So we had to fetch the order details right before we place the order so that we can pass the contents of this fetch request to the order confirmation page or the receipt page. We put awaits in front of this because we thought that this would tell the code, do this first, wait until it's done, and then place the order. It turns out that use lazy query, which is what this is, get order details is the invoker from an Apollo use lazy query here. So we had thought originally that these were promises and that we could await them, but it turns out they're just voids and you can't await them. So normally this isn't a problem because get order details request was so fast that it would return before the place order call returned, and due to some luck, it just happens that it works. But in certain situations, we would run into a case where place order would actually resolve before get order details. So code would get confused because by the time get order details resolved, the order had already been placed, so the cart ID in Magento in the backend was invalid. So the way that we handled that was by just using an effect. So now the place order callback just calls get order details. And then once the order details are resolved, we have an effect here that says when I have order details and I haven't yet placed the order, then go ahead and just place that order and then clean up. So it's just two steps because of the assumption we had made that we could just chain these things, get the order details, then place the order, and then do the other stuff. So now we just have to place that or get the order details and then call place order in effect later. Um, so you may not have seen this if you've been developing on the checkout page. It's unlikely that you saw this bug, but it definitely was happening. And you can see now this first graph. It's kind of probably hard to see. So this first GraphQL call was the get order details, and the second one was the place order. Before, they were happening at the same time. Now you can see that the place order call is not made until after the get order details query returns. So that's just sort of this GIF I took is just proving that it's fixed, I guess. And that's about it. Any questions on that one? Cool. All right. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I don't know how, like that troubleshooting step of just closing the console and then reopening the console. Like,
Yeah.
like, how did you even get to that point where you found that? But there you go. Good troubleshooting.
You go, what? You just bash your head into a bunch of different things and you finally figure out exact steps to reproduce the issue.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. So up next, we have Timothy on the line, Mr. Kalkabin, to talk about the new tutorials that have been released, which I think finishes up the effort there from the contributed tutorials. Correct, James?
Yep, that is correct. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Indeed.
All right. So the tutorials that Andrew mentioned, they're all published under this section, the PWA Studio Fundamentals. We finally completed all the tutorials we planned for this section. Basically, you start with the project setup using the scaffolding tool, and you go through different little lessons here, little tutorials to accomplish common tasks that developers would have. Working with CSS modules, GraphQL, and props, just to get you familiar with PWA Studio and how to work with the tools. And at the very end here, we have a checklist of things that you should know, or you should check to before you launch your site in production. This is by no means a complete checklist. This is just initial things that we've seen. If you have any experience with any production launches and you feel that there are things that everyone would benefit from knowing when they do their launches, we are welcome to add it. Just let us know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This closes out this effort of creating a bunch of tutorials for developers coming into the project. Are there any questions? No questions?
Easy peasy. There you go. Yeah, thanks, Timothy. So like Timothy, I keep bouncing back and forth between Timothy and James. Sorry, it's just going to happen on this call. But like Timothy pointed out, these tutorials were directly contributed from the community, right? Like, so we're very involved with listening to the feedback there. If anybody on the call out there, and if you're watching the video, right, if you're out there in the community and you can think of things that you would like to see covered in a tutorial, you're willing to contribute those things, or even not contribute those things, but would just like to see them in the tutorials or in the dev docs, please make sure to reach out. James is in the community Slack as well, so we're happy to address anything it takes to help anyone out there that's trying to build their PWA and PWA Studio. Okay, great. So the next up is the exciting. Not that everything we've done today isn't exciting, but the really exciting part of today is we have our special guest from CedCommerce here with us to talk about how they've been using PWA Studio to create their own theme. And so we have muted here, and I'll allow him to jump on the line. I'll pass it over to you, and you can introduce your team and walk us through the project, and then we'll open up for questions. I think you're on mute.
Uh, Hello, everyone. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks. Basically, it was like it's a great chance to present our theme in front of all PWA Studio experts. Okay, so we had followed the Magento PWA Studio rules to develop a new theme. We had named it Cenia on the name of Vinia. We had taken the V from our CedCommerce, and we had, like, you can say C from our CedCommerce and replace the V from the Vinia, and after that it's we had named it Cenia. So the theme is Cenia. We had we were seeing the traditional themes which are developed by a lot of vendors in the Magento, which were running very, people were using those themes very easily, and they used to be get at very cheap rates. You can say at very cost-effective rates, and based on that, they will be able to set up the Magento store and all those things in a very quickly. So based on that, we had followed the same concept and tried to develop a full customizable theme, Cenia. We are in the process of providing a fully customizable theme. So we have named Photo or Smart Wave and others in the traditional theme, so that we will be able to provide a complete customizable theme for the merchant, so that they will be able to change the colors, change the header conditions, will be able to add the mega menu part, will be able to add the blog sections or static content and other things also. So we had just started over it, and let me show you my screen 1 second. Yeah, here it is. It's I think, are you guys able to see my screen? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we had developed the Cenia theme. We had we had changed the header section. We had changed the menu, home page slider and other things on the home page. I have Shikha and along with Gaurav from my team, who are going to explain what we did, how we had used the PWA Studio, what we had started, I think, from with the PWA Studio 3 or I think 10 months ago. So after that, we had customized it in with the different upgrades. Also, we had used talents and all those things also. So Shikha from my team will explain all those things and how she had used and developed this thing. Okay, Shikha, please.
Thanks, Mudis, and hi everyone. So I'm going to share my screen, which shows the demo of Cenia. So this is the basic theme, Cenia Pro. I think everyone can see my screen, right?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to start the demo session from header to footer for the home page to every page I will navigate. So on header section, I can here we have added just a small default notification system for like default welcome messages, and we have added information related to stores and store views, and also available currencies for the website. So you can see that this theme is supporting the multi-store and multi-currency as the Luma does for Magento storefront. So after this, the top header section, we have just added the traditional way for showing the logo and the search notifications along with the sign in, sign up page and card sections. We have also added the layered navigation and then slider. Basically, slider is being provided with as an extension for with this theme. So you can configure it as at Magento backend, and you can update these images from the Magento backend itself. And also after this, we have added some blocks. These are basically a CMS block. We have made this as a CMS block basically because you can easily like user or admin, the site owner can easily update these images from the backend. And I will show you the setup basically. Here in Magento backend, we have provided a menu for the PWA Studio. This comes with our theme package, and here from this manage slider section, admin will be able to add multiple sliders, and it will be configured. Like basically, we have added just a home slider for now, but admin will be able to add multiple sliders, and you can configure, you can use on some other pages also with the help of some little customizations. Also, we have added some configurations for the home page basically. You can see that we have provided a whole functionality for enabling and disabling all the pages which is being available on the storefront. Like you can see that here from configuration, you can opt for whether to show these sliders or not. And you can also select the categories banner to show it, show there or not. And here admin will be able to select the all select from all available blocks on the back end, and that will be applied on home pages. So these are, we have tried to make it fully customizable so that as admin can choose what he wants to show on the home page. And apart from this, we have also added 2 sliders for latest products as well as for the trending products for the website. And these can also be configured from Magento backend. Like you can disable these, like you whether the admin wants to show these sliders on home page or not. And after going to footer, we have added our newsletter component on the site to complete the basically the footer section. And the newsletter APIs are being provided by us in our extension, which we provide with this theme. And the footer section also, we have added a specific CMS block so that to provide the ability to basically the admin user can decide what he wants to show on the footer. And we have also just used the copyright section, which is already available in the Venia for the last footer section. And now I will show you the sign in and sign up page. For the sign in page, like Magento Venia also provides the separate create account page. And along with the create account, we have also added the sign in page just to have the traditional look, traditional fields and traditional forms available on the site. These are also very important if we are using the affiliate and referral system. So for this purpose, we have also added a custom sign-in page. So I can log in now, and I will show you my account section. So in my account, we have added, basically we have keep the my account section very neat and clean as per the Magento default Luma theme. So we have used all the designs as well as the view information from the Luma theme itself, because I believe that was very clean and simple, to easy to understand also. So on the dashboard section, we have just added the account information and address related information along with the recent orders. You can also view all the orders from here. And now I go to my order section. Here we are just showing all the recent orders for that particular user. And if you will go through any, if you will view any order, you will just see all the information related to that particular order here. And if there will be any invoice and shipment information will be available for that particular order, user will able to see those informations too. And along with the credit memos, we have covered every section for that particular order section. And in the wish list section, the user will be able to add product to this list from the product pages, and user will can see their wish listed items in their my account. And from here, we can further perform operations like deletion and add to cart. In the address section, we are showing the default addresses along with the available addresses on the website. User can also perform the operations like edit and deletion operations, and he can also add new addresses from here. And in the account information section, user will be able to change their default informations like email and password. And for product reviews, like on product page, user will be able to give reviews for particular products, and that will display here. Like he can see that what review he has given for any product, and he can further view those reviews. And this is just for the newsletter subscription and unsubscription. Now I will move to category pages. Like if I go to back category, so on category pages, I would say that we have just added a filter section on the top left corner, and we have just slightly modified it to perform operation on the click. So that is somewhat different on the mobile view, that we have used the default Cenia functionality for applying the filter in the mobile view. And here we have also added information related to catalog prices rules, because if there will be some price rules will be available. So if we will apply some price filters over here, so there might be possibility that it can show the different values. So we have also added catalog price tools over here. And rest of the things I can say, we have just inferred it from Cenia, like the breadcrumbs and the sorting options. Now, if I will go to any product page, so on product page, you can see we have added few more information on the product page related to review section and catalog price rules, along with the stock notifications and the quantity increment and decrement options. Along with it, we have also added the wish list sections, like user will be able to add items to wish list from the product page, and you can also able to remove the items from wish. Also, we have added the product tab sections, where just here for this product we are showing the three tabs. Like details is basically for the description of the product, and in more information we are showing the additional attributes related to that particular product. And in review sections, user will be basically give review for that particular item, and also you can see the available reviews for that particular product. And we have also added the related products and the process products for that particular any product, a particular product. So if there will be any related products and cross-sell items will be available with any product, so that will display here. And next, if I will add this items on cart, so we will it will just open the cart section that is pretty much similar to Cenia theme. And if we will go for the checkout, like we have added our separate checkout here. We have added this 4-step checkout. You can see login, shipping and address, summary, and payment method. Here I'm login, so I could go to next. I could select any address, and I could select the shipping method, and then I will be able to add. We can review the order summary, and then I could select any payment method. Right now we are just showing the 2 payment methods, but we are developing some more online payment methods like Braintree, Stripe. These are basically under the work, so we are continuously developing and making this theme better in every way we could achieve. And here on the success page, you can see we have added some more information related to order and product information along with the address. Now I could go to my account section and I can just see my current order. I can review it. And some more thing I want to show regarding that we have achieved for some language translation on the Cenia. Here we could translate the words on the in Cenia with the help of React I18 wrapper. So I could show my code base for this, here in package.json file, we have added some dependencies for React I18 next wrappers, and in basically in index.js file, we have used the I18 next provider, and we have used it as a wrapper for the rendering, and we have added I18 and JS, and in that we have configured basically the languages. Right now we are using the JSON files from local itself, but later in future we are in process of having this JSON files from the Magento backend, because if we have a language pack installed on Magento side, so after deployment it generates the JSON files, and we could use all the JSON syntax from there, because in our theme we have tried to use only the standard syntax which is available with the Magento. So that could be very useful. We can have that from Magento backend in future. So in the registration file for now, we have added all the translated scripts, and just for translation, we can perform it by just if I go for a simple example, what we have done for the practical.js, here we have just extended the use translation, and from here, here we have just taken the T function from the use translation, and while writing any text, we could write it as a function of T. So by writing every text in the Cenia and in CedCommerce, basically we have made for from Cenia, we could achieve all the translations on the website. So we are in process of making it more better, and we will also really we are adding some more features in that, so that we will keep releasing it. So I think that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Shika. Yeah, so wow, right there, there's a lot there. So let's open up. We have about 10 minutes left, and I'm sure there are a lot of questions out there, a lot of comments from the crowd. So let's open up to anyone on the chat or anyone on the line.
Hey, this is Steven. I'm curious how much GraphQL you guys used on your work on the cart page that you implemented, and also on the new on the My Account views, because we're about to start working on that. I know that there's some gaps in the GraphQL coverage in certain areas, but just curious about how you guys approach the data fetching.
Yeah, for basically for My Account section, I would say that we have used 100% GraphQL, and because I think most of the things were available and which was not available for related to order section and somewhat. So we have created our separate modules, and we have added those basically we have added those GraphQL queries and schemas, and we have added our own resolvers and made everything with the GraphQL. But for checkout, I would say that we have used just for the cart, add to cart section, we have used the GraphQL, which was also available in the Cenia. But for the rest of the things, we are using the REST. Basically, the most of the reason was that quite stable. We could find some of the issues available in the GraphQL repository and in the Magento course. So just for now, we are using the REST for the checkout, but we are in process of updating all the things for in GraphQL, which is we find stable in terms of adding shipping methods and performing the order place operations. So yeah, we are in process, but currently we are using the REST most for the checkout, just for the stable purpose. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Cool. Thank you.
We have a question from Carlos in chat. So obviously you guys, one of the more impressive things is that you guys started off with the early version of PWA Studio, version 3, which is the version right after our GA 2.0 release, right? So a while back, and Carlos's question is, can you speak a little bit about the level of customization from the PWA Studio 3?
I would say that like when we were using PWA Studio 3, then we have mostly completed the 25% of that particular theme. So whenever the new version released and we find it somewhat different in the coding structure too, so we basically created it from scratch on the new version. But that was not much difficult because like we had already did all the API part and everything. So that was not much difficult for us to move to a new version. But as we could say that we were very new on the React. We just learned all the React things with the PWA Studio only. So yeah, we learned everything and we just moved to the newer version, and still we are learning more with the PWA Studio.
Great. What are there any other questions for Shika or Muda and team? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So again, very impressed with what you guys have done from CedCommerce with the Cenia theme. We'll obviously be in touch to collect some more feedback from you guys on how your experience was working with PWA Studio over the last year, right? Continue the dialogue there, but it's super exciting work. And then, we'll follow up. So quickly here in the last couple minutes, I just want to give a quick update on what's coming up with PWA Studio. So right now we are working towards our 7.0 release, which should happen here towards the end of July. But obviously you'll see some of the major features we've been working on over the last couple of months, like the new cart experience, the new checkout experience, the new page builder built landing page experience that we demoed 2 weeks ago, as well as a lot of the work that Mr. Zetland has been doing around extensibility and his extensibility framework. You can also add in all the quality and performance fixes that we've obviously addressed over the last couple of months as well. So that's will likely be the bulk of 7.0. We're trying right now in the next couple of weeks to fit in as many kind of quality fixes and bug fixes that have been reported through community into that release as well. So keep in touch with us. We'll make sure we continue to update the group on the timelines for 7.0 as the release notes become available. Obviously making sure that you guys are aware of where those are. You should be aware, I guess, already in the project where the release notes are, but we'll make sure to point those out to everyone. And then another quick update, because we don't have Lars and Jordan on the call. They were busy with their day jobs. So a community corner update is that Tommy and I, alongside with Lars and Jordan, are really working on how do we improve some of the process there that we kind of created at the beginning of this year for community engagement, community contribution. We obviously have the community backlog that's in GitHub, but we're looking at what improvements we can make there, and can we maybe create a more targeted channel where if you're interested in contribution, you can actively just very quickly look at what are the priorities for the project, what are some items that can be picked up immediately and pushed forward, as well as including making sure it's very obvious how we've integrated into the larger community kind of program around points and contribution, et cetera, right? So that's another quick update. So stay tuned for more information there. Tommy, if you have anything to add or any plugs for community, feel free to jump in now.
No, we added some new stuff in there, so if you haven't been to the community backlog in a while, there's some fresh new issues in there that are ready to be taken. Threw a ton of points at them, so go get them.
Go get them. All right, so I'll end it. Any other questions from the group? Any comments, any updates that anyone wants to throw in here really quickly? All right, awesome. So thanks for joining, everyone. Have a safe and happy weekend, and we will see you guys next week. It's hard when I'm the only one on video.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks. Yeah, turn your cameras on.